Right then, hello everyone. This is my next YouTube video, and it's going to be slightly different this one because I had a bit of a problem last week since I did this stats paper, the 2021 November paper, and I did it all. I was looking through the video, I was editing it, and it turns out the recording software kind of stopped halfway through, so I missed the second half of the paper out. And since I'd already done it at that point, I didn't want to go back and do it again because then I'd know all the questions and it wouldn't really be fair. So I thought instead I would record myself marking it, which I guess that's the next best thing, I suppose. So yeah, this is going to be that's going to be this video. I've got a bit of a split screen action going on here. The paper on one side and then the mark scheme on the other. So yeah, let's get straight into it, I suppose. Oh, a little ad there. Lovely. Right. Yeah, so the first question, it was quite a simple Venn diagram one. You can see all my working out there. I mean, Venn diagrams, they're not too much trouble. This one was only like only had well, I say it's two circles, but it did have another one in, it does technically have three, I suppose. But I guess Venn diagrams are only really difficult if you've got maybe you've got algebra or you've got three overlapping circles. So this one was quite straightforward. So yeah, if you look in the mark scheme, they've done pretty much exactly what I've done to work out P is 0.3 because the sum of all the probability in the Venn diagram is going to be equal to 1. So then you can kind of work it back and get P to be 0.3. So that's a mark there. And then part B, A and C mutually exclusive. Yeah, that's just kind of remembering your definition for mutually exclusive there. I wrote a little formula here because I wasn't sure whether that was needed in the answer. I guess it probably wasn't since it was only one mark. But yeah, the answer was A and C mutually exclusive because if you look in the Venn diagram, they're in no way are A and C linked because they're two completely separate circles. A and B would not be mutually exclusive because they do have an overlap. Same with B and C. B and C are not mutually exclusive, but A and C are. So yeah, that was a rather easy question. Nice 2 marks for me there. Let's go straight on to the next one. Oh dear. Oh, a lot of writing there. It was a histogram. Okay, let's see what we got in the mark scheme. Right, so it's 3 marks for the first question. Complete the histogram. Okay, what have I got here? I'm reading the mark scheme here. I'll just get a little pen so I can draw on it. So from 5 to 20, FD equals 3. Oh, frequency density. Okay. So that's talking about the 5 to 20 group. So it's basically looking at this box here, and you're saying that the frequency density of it is 3, I think. Oh yeah. Okay, I get that because in this diagram I get that mark because if you look at the y-axis here, I labelled on it 3 here, and that is the height of the 5 to 20 group. So I get that first method mark, which is nice. Then the next bit says correct bar above 0 and 5. Does it tell me what it should be? Oh yeah, it says, I'm looking in the notes here, it says first bar with frequency density of 1. So yeah, we get that second mark there, and then the last mark, correct bar for 20 to 40 group. So that would want a frequency density of 4.5, which is exactly what I've got, which is nice. So we can tick that. So yeah, I mean, histograms, I'm pretty sure they come up in GCSE stats as well. So if you did that, you'd be pretty good shape to answer these questions. I mean, I guess the whole gist of it is, I mean, since you have a table and then you've got this graph as well, you've got a lot of information to work with, so they aren't too difficult to figure your way out on how to get your answer. But yeah, the mark scheme does break it down quite nicely, saying that you need to be able to find the values for this y-axis in order to complete the histogram, and you do that, you find the values for the y-axis using what's already been given by the histogram, this area here, and the table, which is up here, by those two pieces of information. Yeah. Right, so part B. Use linear interpolation to estimate the median age. Right, let's see what I did. Right. See what they're saying the answer. Oh, I've got this wrong. Okay. So for 40 to 65 is 130 passengers. Passengers? Yeah, passengers. Okay, so I can see that I haven't wrote that explicitly, but I've got a 130 here, so I think I can give myself that mark. And then I've also got the 60 passengers there for the 65 to 80 group. You can see there. That's what I'm getting that first method mark for, so I think I can tick that. Then for an attempt to find the total number of passengers, 331, which I got, which is nice. Median, right, so I used this formula wrong. Looks like. What on earth? Oh, have I found the range wrong? So what have I done? I think what I did was I counted down. I said if there's, yeah, so I had the 331. I halved it to get 165.6. Which, looking back, why on earth did I do that? Because, oh wait, no, because yeah, I understand. Yeah, 165.6. So what you want to do is once you have the total number of passengers, you can then half that to find out how many passengers, like into the whole set of passengers, I suppose, will the median be. So in this case, the median will be the 165.6th passenger. Oh, wait, that's not right. If you divide 331... Wait, let me get my calculator. I think that number's wrong. 331 divided by 2. Yeah, it should be 165.5. Yeah. I mean, it's only 0.1 off. That shouldn't make too much of a difference. What else have we got? What was I talking about? Yeah, so it appears that I've just used the formula wrong. It's quite embarrassing, really. I'm not quite sure what they've done. Maybe if the notes would help us. So what method mark are we looking for? Yeah, for the second method mark, any expression leading to the correct Q2, which is the median, must be using the 40 to 65 class. And I did not do that. I used the 20 class, which I shouldn't have done. Okay. I think, because what you're supposed to do is you get 165. Oh, I wrote it down here. So you start off with 165. Then you minus, oh my goodness. Yeah, I see what I've done now. That's quite embarrassing. So to get from 165 to the next one, you got to minus 5. Because that's how many people in this group. Then you want a minus 45 again. Yeah, you want a minus 5, so that how many people are in this group. And you're doing this to find which set, so which, what do you call it? Is it group frequency? Just group. So you want to find which group the middle person's in. So in this case, for some reason, what I did was I said 160.5 minus 45 is 70. Right, doing that on my calculator now. I can tell you it's not 70. It was 115.5. And then I'm going to minus 90 from that. It seems to me that what I've done is instead of minusing 45, I'm minus 90. So that's quite a silly calculation error by me. So yeah, since if you look here, you can see that if you were to take away 130 from 115.5, then you will get a negative value, which isn't possible. So this means that the passenger must lie in the 40 to 65 group. So that means your calculation is going to be something like, this is how I do it, then this is how I tried to do it earlier if I didn't get it wrong. So I would have done 40 because that's the lowest possible one it can be because we're in the 40 to 65 group. So we know it's going to be 40 add something. So we're going to be 40 add, and then the ratio of how far it is in the group, how far the people are in the group. So in this case, it's going to be 115.5 over 130. So if I do that, 115.5 over 130, then I'm going to times that ratio by the class width. Because if you think about it, like if this ratio was 1, then if you times it by the class width, which is 25, you would then get 65. And then if that ratio was 0 and you times it by the class width, you just get 40, which is the lower group. So it works quite nicely that way because you can kind of figure out the formula and where you want to go with it. So yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. So times by 25, I think. I hope so. I'm just looking. It doesn't look like that's going to give me 44.5. 44.9 even. Add. Just put it in on my calculator now. Yeah, it gives us 62, which is not the right answer. So why am I doing this very wrong? It's got to be. It's because we've got this ratio wrong somehow. This one. This 115.5. Oh, have I not taken 90 off it? Oh, yeah, well, I didn't even take 90 off it. I've done the same mistake, well, a similar mistake on the same question. So yeah, it should be 25.5. There we go. So then now our formula should work. So if we use 25.5, then please, if this doesn't work, if this doesn't work, I'm going to be very, very sad. We'll see. 25.5, yeah, 44.9. Nice, so that's the right answer. The mark scheme formula, I don't really know what they've done, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. They seem to have done the whole process of taking the passengers away to find the middle in one calculation, which is definitely not the way I do it, but I mean, I don't know. You guys watching this may have been taught that way, so you may understand it better than I do. So anyway, right, move on from that question. The next one, 2C. So we've got this was to do with outliers, I think. Yeah, it was an outlier, so it gave you that little formula of the upper quartile, add 3 over 2 times the interquartile range. Yeah, it would give you an outlier, so anything greater than that would be an outlier. So that was a fairly simple calculation. Just saying, so in the mark scheme you see you get a method for highlighting the upper outlier limit, which is what I've done here, which is 106.3. So I get that method mark, and then it just requires like a statement saying why the oldest passenger could not be an outlier. So yeah, so all the people, yeah, so as you can see here, I've got oldest person cannot be an outlier as the oldest person is less than 90, so cannot be older than 106.3. So we just wanted a statement like that for the last mark on that question. Right then, let's keep on going. Next one. Okay, large data set. Here we go. Right, so this just seems quite simple recall, I suppose. 3A, systematic sampling. Yeah, that's just knowledge of sampling methods. 3BI, I got this wrong. I said it's daily mean rainfall. Apparently it's not. So, yeah, I got that one wrong. It's actually wind speed, as you can see by the mark scheme. What have we got up here? Yes, so suggest which variable was being used. I don't really know why it's wind speed, if I'm being perfectly honest. Maybe, is it because every day it has a wind speed, maybe? And like not every day is rain, but then that would just make it 0, so I'd guess it wouldn't really count. Oh, never mind. Oh, I realise what. That was quite silly. Yeah, I think it's because it says there's only 3 different outcomes. So the wind speed could either be light, is it light, moderate, and then I guess there's one that's like heavy or like really fast or something. There's another one. So yeah, I probably should have spotted that there's only 3 possible outcomes, so it has to be wind speed. The next one I simply just got wrong. Wait, what was it even asking? Suggest the name of outcome A, and I gave a number. I don't know what I was doing. So I suppose, yeah, so the answer is light, because there's only 3 possible outcomes, and like I said, I mean, most days you would get light wind speed, like it wouldn't be that fast, I suppose. So yeah, the answer is just light. Next question. Variable A occurs around most. Variable A occurs most of the time. What was it even asking? So what inference? I mean, that seems pretty obvious. That I don't think that's a very good question, if I'm being perfectly honest, because like you could have said a lot of things. You could say like C doesn't occur most of the time. Like it doesn't talk about any. It doesn't say anywhere that you have to specifically reference A in the question. So I think that's a silly question, and I got it wrong. Right, let's move it on. Okay, binomial distribution. Let's see if I can get some marks here. Okay, it's 4A, 18, 0.14. Yeah, seems nice. Where X is getting a red bead. Yeah, they've just done it in terms of R, which I suppose they can if they want. It doesn't really matter. It's just a variable. Yeah, that's just knowledge about the binomial distribution. That's just setting one up, I suppose. Is it binomial distribution? Yeah, binomial distribution model. Right. So we got our next one. Just using that formula we just came up with. So that's just putting the numbers into your calculator, I suppose, and clicking equals. It's not exactly difficult. And the same one is something similar, only you have to do a little bit more. There is a different way of doing it with different calculators. I know. I think most people watching this will have the class whiz, in which you'll have to do this method that they've done, where you have to do 1 minus the probability of R being greater than 3 or something like that. Oh, I think I think there's a mistake in the mark scheme here. I think it should be something like those symbols are missing. So it should be something like that. But yeah, if you have the CG50 calculator, I think you can just put it in automatically, and it will just give you the right answer without having to do the 1 minus step. Right, next one. Yeah, requires P equals 0.14. Yeah, so I guess this is just your knowledge about what makes the binomial distribution applicable. I think it's the thing called FTSE. I can't remember exactly what all of them are. I probably should revise that actually. But one of them is that the probability will remain the same no matter what. But obviously, if you're taking beads out of a bag and not putting them back, then the probability will change. So the binomial distribution will not always work. Like it will get worse and worse as you take out more and more beads. So yeah, is it that just 1 mark? Yeah, it is. Okay, part D, making a... Is this hypothesis testing? Yeah, hypothesis testing. So let's see what I get marks for now. So it looks like I get 1 mark for both the hypotheses. Oh, I seem to have got this wrong. What have I done here? A number of x follows binomial. So they've got a new binomial formula here. Instead of using this other one with 75 in instead of 18. Right, yeah, I seem to have massacred this question. This is great. Yeah, so apparently, I mean, it makes sense actually because you're not looking at the 18 beads anymore. You're looking at the 75 because you want to find the chance of actually getting 4 red beads in a bag of 75. So you should be using 75 instead of 18 in your hypothesis test. So yeah, I've definitely got that one wrong. Bit of a cough there. Right, then the next one, a p-value. Now I remember doing this. I have no idea what a p-value is. So I guess I'll look in the notes here to help me. Yeah. It's critical regions. Okay, right. So I should have found the critical region and then times it by 2 because it's a 2-tailed test because you've got the hypotheses you're testing, I think. Or wait, no, H1 is a not equal sign, which means it's 2-tailed. So yeah, that's why you times the critical region by 2 in order to get your answer 0.03, which I didn't get. Yeah, because I didn't get the previous one. I was probably feeling like very sad about it, so I wasn't feeling too hopeful about it. Right, okay. So this next question now, it's the last one. Right, this one was a nice question because, well, I mean, as you can see, I'm looking at it now. I got it right, which I'm very pleased because it's just sort of a nice like logic type question using probability. So like I suppose it'd be difficult to find questions like this to practice because they're always going to be like in a different sort of style. So I mean, it could be looking at this question and being exposed to it, I suppose, is good because it's just sort of like it's almost like a fun logic puzzle, I suppose. So basically, this is what I did, and this is what you're supposed to do. So you're supposed to say that if bag A contains an equal number of red, yellow, and green balls, the only way this would be possible is to have A either contain 4 of each ball or 3 of each ball. And this is because you can only add and take away 1 ball. You can only add 1 ball and you can only take away 1 ball. So I think you're supposed to say that the only way of getting 3 red, 3 yellow, and 3 green is if n was equal to 2, because then you would have you'd then have 4 red, 3 yellow, and then 2 green balls. So then when you take one out of bag A, like here, you would then have 3 red, 3 yellow, and 2 green, and then you would add one from B back into A. So then you would then have 3, 3, 3, and you could have an equal amount of balls in the bag. So that was one way of doing it. Then the other way is if n would be equal to 5. So you had 4 red, 3 yellow, and 5 green balls. So then when you take one out of bag A, you would then have 4, 3, and then 4. And then you add one from B into A, you get 4, 4, and 4. I suppose, I mean, I suppose it's difficult to spot that. I mean, it's just sort of the method. I think I spoke to one of my friends about this question, and they have this weird like tree diagram method, which I suppose maybe that would have worked. I can't remember if they got the right answer or not. But yeah, I think it's just looking at what is possible, and it's kind of weird, this sort of way of working it out, because when you're doing algebra, you don't really set n is equal to something, and then from that work it out. You normally try to work out n with the information you've got, but evidently you can't do that here. I guess that's suppose like a hint in the question where it says find the possible values of p and n. So yeah, I suppose, I mean, it is a difficult question, but yeah, it's well, I mean, I would explain the rest of the question, but once you get that first concept, the rest is fairly simple. You just have to not make any mistakes and remember that the probabilities change when you add in balls and you take them away, and then you can just work through it sequentially and logically, and you should get the right answers. So as you can see, I got, well, when n equals 2, p equals 2 over 45, which is what we got here. So that is, yeah, so it's 2 marks for that, and then for that statement at the start, it's a mark, and then for the n equals 5 section, it's a mark there, and then a mark for the answer. I think you can see the little diagrams I drew here. So like, I had bag A and bag B, and then I said to get 3 of each, you need to add a red ball. You need to, you need to take a red ball out of A and put it into B. You need to put a green ball from B into A. Then you work out the probability of that to get your answer. That's a funny looking P that I've drawn. It's more like an E, that's better. And then you can do the same for n equals 5, where, well, I drew a little diagram here saying to get 4 balls of each, you need to take a green ball from A and put it into B, and then a yellow ball from B and put it into A. And then you work out the probability of that happening, which is 1 over 8, and then you get, no, that's your other answer. So, yeah, I think that was it for the paper. Yes, it is. Yeah, so I think that'll just be it for the video. I mean, I am rather disappointed because I should have, if it wasn't for my recording software, you would have seen me go through all this like with a fresh pair of eyes and first time seeing it. So yeah, I suppose it would be more beneficial than me just talking through a mark scheme, because it's not really, I suppose you can do that yourself. You don't really need someone like it. I'm not really showing you my thought process, just looking at a mark scheme, but hey ho, it is what it is. And I mean, if anyone, I use OBS Studio to record my screen, and I think the problem was, well, first of all, it cut out halfway through. So like, if anyone knows why that's happened, please tell me in the comments, because I don't know. And I am using OBS Studio now, so I hope this. So if this video works, if you'll hear me say this, I'm going to be a very happy person that this is up on YouTube and this has actually worked. But yeah, I think that will just be it for the video. Actually, wait, let's do one more thing before I go. I want to work on my total marks for the paper. So if I add 2 marks there, 1, 2. Oh wait, I got marks up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2 add 7. Add 1, and then I didn't get anything. That was quite poor. Then I got all these marks here, I think. Add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the way I mark it is I'd say that 1 tick is 1 mark, and add 5 for the last question. So I got 21. 21 out of 30. Should have been higher, really, if I knew how hypotheses testing. Oh, wait, was it the hypotheses testing I got wrong? Yeah, I made a silly mistake on the hypotheses testing one. A little bit of a lack of knowledge about the large data set. That was kind of a revision issue. The silly mistake on the histogram one, I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid, really, because like, you just don't make them, I suppose. is the advice for that. But yeah, 21 out of 30. What's that as a percentage? Oh, 700. Yeah, 70%. I don't know what grade that is. I mean, it's AS, so it's probably not too high. Yeah, so anyway, I think that'll be it for the video. I'm not sure what I'll do my next one on. If anyone has any recommendations on what my next video should be on, please tell me in the comments. I don't just do maths, I could do physics or chemistry, but the problem with that is they are normally longer than like half an hour or so. Like if I'm doing a 2.5 hour A-level chemistry paper, that's going to be a lot of strain on my device. But I can still have a go. Maybe break into chunks or something. I don't know. But yes, thank you if you've made it this far. Ooh, give yourself a pat on the back. I'll see you in the next video, I suppose. Goodbye.